So the Nittany Lions will kick off.
There was a time this represented the vanguard in the college football gaming experience.
Exclusive offensive quarterback. He passes. Complete. Touchdown.
Then this development seemed revolutionary.
With head-to-head, you're really in the game. A power sweep. He fights through for the tackle. You pass. He blitzes. Intercepts.
This is real competition.
But the forebearers of sports video gaming have long since been relegated to little more than YouTube nostalgia, replaced on the landscape by the industry giant.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
When Electronic Arts beckons consumers with the rallying cry, "It's in the game," the company is seizing upon advancements in technology that have allowed gamers to virtually replicate the total college football experience, right down to the cheerleaders, team mascots, and every detail of the game's biggest superstars. What's EA's value in being able to, say, that's Tim Tebow?
Authenticity. I mean, all of their sports games, they hang their hat on saying this is as close as you're going to get in a video game. They want it to be as authentic as possible, and they'll go to great lengths to do it.
Authenticity, though, is now at the core of a class action lawsuit that, if successful, could change the face of the NCAA. The lawsuit charges EA with stealing the likenesses of college football and basketball players for its popular video games, and the NCAA with failing to protect its athletes from exploitation.
It would turn them upside down because it would make them realize that if they want to monetize on the kid's image, they're going to have to include the kids.
Rob Carey is a managing partner in the Phoenix office of a law firm with branches throughout the country, and Carey's specialty is class action suits. He has 2 ongoing cases against the NCAA.
It's one of the few institutions of significant size that kind of makes its own rules.
When the NCAA turns a blind eye and EA Sports makes a lot of money off of this situation, something's wrong.
Keller's going to throw deep.
Sam Keller is a former starting quarterback at Arizona State and later Nebraska. He was introduced to Carey by a friend when the lawyer was looking for someone to front his latest case against the NCAA. Keller was, in some ways, a perfect fit, a self-described showboat.
I thought about it, and I thought that, if anybody's going to do this, it's going to be me, because I don't really, I kind of break the mold a little bit. I'm a little bit different, so I believed in it and decided to go forward with it.
The crux of the lawsuit is rooted in the extent to which EA has gone to simulate actual players, albeit without using their names, an apparent nod to NCAA rules limiting the use of a player's name or picture solely to promoting NCAA championships or other NCAA events. Still, EA takes great pains to imitate the real-life student athletes. Height, weight, number, performance, skin color, facial appearance, even wrist and arm bands. And it's not just the All-America players, it's virtually every player, from the defensive tackle at Akron to the center at San Jose State.
That is me. That is me, number 5, visor, big quarterback from California.
In fact, when Keller transferred to Nebraska from Arizona State, he unveiled a new look during the Cornhuskers spring game, and EA's version of the quarterback changed with him. You got a dark visor on. What's the deal with the dark visor?
I wore a visor my senior year at Nebraska, the only year I've ever worn one.
Keller's lawsuit suggests that rather than enforcing its own rules, the NCAA and its for-profit marketing arm have sanctioned Electronic Arts violations.
You have to follow all the NCAA rules and regulations, and if you violated a minuscule portion of that rule, you get thumped, right? But the NCAA, it can't turn its back and say, I'm not going to honor what I told you, which was I'm going to protect you, I'm going to enforce your rights, I'm going to keep people from using your rights. It did none of that.
In April 2005, the NCAA's licensing agent announced an exclusive 6-year agreement with EA. Since then, EA has generated more than $500 million in sales on its college football and basketball games. The NCAA declined interview requests from outside the lines, but in court papers, the organization was dismissive of Keller's claims, stating the lawsuit falls far short of alleging the sort of facts needed to show that Keller's likeness, as opposed to historical statistical facts, has been appropriated by anyone. The NCAA also attacks the Keller complaint as failing to allege any facts showing whether or how the NCAA supposedly breached an express term of the supposed contract.
I think that they are not used to people challenging them. I think they're used to laying down the rules rather than having the law applied to them.
EA, which also declined interview requests, took the approach in its filings that even if it were using the players' likenesses, the First Amendment gave it the right to do so, because the games are expressive works and because of the public's strong interest in information about sports and athletes.
The idea that EA was not using the names but using the likenesses, what does that say to you?
Well, I think they were trying to follow the rules of what the NCAA said, but somehow they can play just like them and look just like them and have the same physical dimensions and the same left or right-handedness. That seemed to be okay. So I think they are trying to follow the letter of the law.
Still, while EA doesn't put names to the players, expert Aaron Boulding says the company has expedited the process for gamers to do just that.
So now we want to go and do what thousands of people across the country do, which is they download rosters so that way you don't have to have all of those HB3s and QB15s.
Using the EA Locker function, gamers can fairly easily access rosters and download them in less than a minute. So Florida QB number 15 suddenly becomes the college game's most famous player.
So now we look, can't see it, underneath on the back of his jersey. That's our guy.
Tebow's career path is obvious. He's likely headed to the NFL.
Good time to go for a bomb. Oh my goodness.
No one's blocking for you.
Keller's dream, though, flamed out after a tryout with the Raiders. By night, Keller says he's making a good living as a bartender and a marketing person for an upscale club in Scotsdale. By day, he's taking classes toward his goal of becoming a firefighter. He also says he doesn't expect to make any more money than any of the other thousands of players who stand to benefit from the lawsuit. But Nebraska fans, already chafed at the team's 5-7 record when he quarterbacked the Cornhuskers in 2007, shredded Keller on a local message board after he filed the lawsuit.
So I printed out a couple of the comments.
Yeah.
Sam Keller is pathetic. He busted on and off the field. Now this reeling attempt to collect some money he never earned. Wow, nice. Can't cut it in the NFL. Couldn't get a real job. So let's sue someone. Gotta love the American dream. Come on, Sam. If you're broke, get a job like everyone else. I hear they're hiring at McDonald's. You read all these, I assume, or you heard about them?
No, not those in particular. I've heard that it was rough. I understand that it may appear that I'm looking to make a quick buck, but on the other hand, it's geez, I played football there. I tried, I worked hard there, and I tried to be good, and it doesn't work out for everybody. I'm just doing something that I believe is right, and it's not about making a quick buck for me. It's a lot bigger than me. It's about thousands of college athletes. And it's about changing how this whole thing works.